Today, Harry the creepy doll is magically turned into beige. This is ChillPoint. By the power of Fruit Loops.
Mm-hmm. Who knew?
Well, I've got to summon beach somehow.
Hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, show where we talk about the week's video game news as well as the episode of Checkpoint that went up this week.
Did it really go up this week?
Who
can
as
say?
far as
Who
far
can
as I
say?
know.
I don't know. It could be a mass hallucination.
I mean, weren't you the one putting it up? Did you put it up?
Was I? Did I?
I did. I know I didn't put it up.
I saw something on.
And I don't think Beach put it up.
Yeah, I saw something
so
on YouTube.
if it's up there, somebody put it up there.
Who can say?
Who can say? Anyway.
Where the wind blows.
Hey everybody. Yeah, let's talk about the episode of Checkpoint that almost certainly went up yesterday. Although I briefly have to re-sign into Google Docs.
I mean, you got to do it before. Before is better than in the middle, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Because
it's all like a weirdly new courtesy.
Yeah, because Google sometimes decides that I am not me.
I sometimes decide I'm not me.
So, this week's episode of Checkpoint started off with some good old-fashioned Elon Musk being a dumbass story. Just and a very like I don't know, what sort of unnecessary
Own goal.
or just sort of stupid quote.
Yeah.
Like being like, so he posted on
X-Twitter.
X/Twitter that next year Grok will be it. This was so in response to a AI generated video of like some Battlefield Call of Duty style.
Oh, right. The thing
gameplay.
that doesn't work but pretends it knows what it's doing.
Yeah. He was like, Grok by next year, Grok will be able to make a great video game.
No.
And yeah, and it's just so, and then about an hour later, he's like, and by next year, it'll be able to make like a watchable movie, and then by 2027, like a good movie. And it's just like, it's not gonna like.
I don't want to know his definition of watchable movie because I don't think it's my definition of watchable movie.
Like there are, I mean, and you know, we talked about a little bit that you know, there was that sort of Quake 2 demo or Quake demo a few months ago that somebody made like this sort of Quake or this thing that generated frames that looked like Quake, and you could sort of move things around. And it was like, oh, cool! It's basically an AI generating a video game, and it's like, but
Wasn't that the same
but
one
is
that
it-
like every time you like looked at the ground and looked up, the entire
yeah,
it became a different place?
and it's like, sometimes you would just like look at an enemy, and sometimes they would die because in its training data, often enemies that were in the center of the screen died. And also sometimes bullets appeared in the center of the screen.
Yeah.
And so it sometimes would draw bullets in the center of the screen. Like it's, you know, it's not a game. It's what you would have playing in the background of a movie if you wanted to like oh, somebody has planned a video game, but we don't really want to show a specific video game. We'll just have like some video game-ish pictures happen.
Yeah, you don't want people to know that you don't really know how to play Xenoblade.
And like, and like, there are lots of ways that already, and I'm sure more so in the future, AI can be used in game development. There's all sorts of procedural and AI generated stuff for like, I could see AIs designing levels, and I could see AIs coming up with, you know, voice dialogue and coming up with voice lines and dialogue, and you can have AIs come up with some of the programming aspect. But it's gonna be like a game engine. Like the idea that you're gonna create a video game by just
Typing in a prompt.
well, by just generating frames of video, it's just like that's fundamentally not gonna work. I don't think.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. AI can definitely and certainly has been used a lot in game development, and I could see it replacing a lot of elements of game development, probably to the detriment of things. But
Not to the essence
idea
of making an entire video game.
not the idea of an entire video game being generated by AI out of whole cloth doesn't make any sense, I don't think. And then a movie, again, you know, you can put the little 6-second bits of movies that
Shouldn't the
AIs can generate.
movie be easier for the AI than
You
the,
would think.
than
Yeah.
the
And yet,
video game?
and yet, apparently not.
If you like watching movies that have cuts every 4 seconds.
Two completely different things.
Yeah. Yeah. If you like that,
No,
then
you're right, because they totally train it off of something like the way people edit on YouTube right now, which is just or TikTok or something. And honestly, some of you need to learn how to.
Well, there was
not
that,
do that.
there was that recent AI generated video that Riot had posted to their to League of Legends account, being like, check out this
the
thing.
K-pop one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Graham had pointed out to me that he's like, yeah, this only has like very short clips between each thing, and because that's all you could rely upon an AI to generate is like a short burst of video, something big enough to fit.
I'm thinking of
Yeah.
like there was a video I saw on a YouTube short where someone was like baking something, and they decided that for their baking thing, that while the baking was going on, that they needed to like do a cut to a different angle of the same bowl like every 4 seconds to make it more interesting. And then when like the beaters were going, they decided that the camera needed to do this shit
Great
at it, and I was like,
quality.
Was this in fact an AI generated video?
no, it was a real person. I had to stop watching because I'm like, you're not thinking about the point of your video. You're just trying to be flashy about it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that's what AI will do.
And then the additional sort of cherry on the top is Elon Musk going like, yes, within, in 2026, Grok will be able to make an entire video game, and then there being a job listing on the XAI website for a job position to teach the AI how to make a video game.
Yeah. $45 an hour.
I mean, because an AI can't do anything on its own.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be
needs,
taught.
It needs a prompt at minimum. Like it needs to be.
It's
You can't just be like, great, and it'll do shit. It's not a person.
from what I understand, it looks like from like the job description, the idea with this job would be to, you would be like taking a bunch of stuff in and like tagging it and telling the AI what it is for training purposes. But yeah, it's not gonna. I mean, I encourage anybody to go for that job. Just get that $45 an hour or however much you make. Get that money.
I don't trust you to get paid for
Yeah,
this
make
job,
sure
though.
make sure you're being paid, regularly.
I honestly don't. I'm pretty sure there were stories about people who weren't really properly getting paid, or who'd get fired who weren't supposed to be fired, or like I don't expect you'd get really actually paid for that job.
But if you did, I mean, your job is to basically just sit down and yell things into a void.
Yeah, I do that for a streamer.
But for 8 hours a day, like you're
many
just
streamers
I don't
you're
do
just
that.
constantly saying this stuff to this weird box. You're just typing things into it over and over, or showing it images or whatever, and it's like, I don't know how it can learn what a person learns, right? You can sit down with somebody and you can start from basic principles to explain to them. It's like, this is like how you can show, like I can show my dad a video game, right? My dad did not grow up with video games, but as an adult, he had seen video games. He bought video game consoles for our house, kind of thing, because like the kids want them, right? So he's familiar with the concept thing, and it's like, you can show somebody, well, this is what a video game is. It's that the stuff happens on a TV screen, and then the person causing those things to happen is making inputs on a joystick and a controller. I'm like, I'm saying this shit out loud, and I'm like, how do you tell a box that just parrots back shit to you? How do you tell them how this works? Because you don't.
You're not explaining how it works. You're just giving reams and reams and reams of data.
Yeah, you're just putting in data.
But it's like, it's video and audio data, and then you also have to say, oh, but then the user has to have inputs, and the inputs have to mean something, and I'm like,
and that's
fuck. Can I finish what I guess I can't finish what I'm saying, because actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure where this ends.
But that's okay.
Like,
I was gonna just say that it's like telling someone the difference between information and knowledge.
yeah,
Right?
right.
A computer does not know the difference between information and knowledge.
Yeah, and it's mind-boggling to me to think that it's like I'm not teaching a computer how to render like a matrix of polygons. Like I'm entering in all this data, and then I'm entering in all the math that tells it what to do with when the data is there, and then I'm telling it how to interpret like all that kind of crap. It's like, you're just programming a computer. That's all this is just be like, we need someone to show Grok what a video game is. Like, no, you need someone to program a computer from scratch, and you want one person to come in and design a whole game engine and design all this other shit, and then be like, look, we have a video game. It's like, anybody can do that. Like, if you're a programmer,
just make the person make a video game, not get a.
But like for the frame generation stuff, it would be like, this frame, between this frame and this frame, this is when the person has moved their,
I guess,
their mouse like this. And this is anyway, it's silly.
Is that any more efficient? Because like,
I mean, no.
The dream, the dream is always like, computer, load up, program, whatever, and take off the safety variables, and it's all fucking holodeck programming, right? It's like, increase this, take me to level 127 or whatever. Like, it's like that's what these people all think that the last step of this is going to be.
Okay, but we do that kind of thing with gaming engines, but somebody has to make the gaming engine.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah.
That's what. The tools to make the game are made by another group of people, and then the people who make the game,
like, I could see this
use
being
the engine.
I could see this being interesting if it was like, tell one of these aspirational or AGIs, use RPG Maker to make a game. I could see that, where it's like all the stuff is kind of there, like we have the inputs, and we have base assets, and we have like a place to program stuff. I'm like, telling it, I would point it at something like even like Nintendo's Game Maker Garage or something, and be like, use the things that's coming off of this system that has all this stuff already set up for you, and then try to make something that feels like a video game that does these kind of things. And I'm like, that might be an interesting exercise.
And like that could work if you had loaded in 100,000 Game Maker Garage games into it.
And to say this is how they all work. Yeah.
It could probably do something.
I mean, it's still the weird thing to me is people who have a lot of money want to make more money by not having to get people to make things, but by having a money making machine that's legal because they can't just print money legally. And the rest of us, the rest of the world who aren't like made of billions of dollars would just like something to help us clean the house, do chores so that we can go do the fun things.
Yeah.
You know, the whole future of like, what was it? It's the 1950s futuristic Jetsons thing is about how it's supposed to be more about how these things do the menial work that you don't want to do so you can do the fun stuff and enjoy art and make art and not have the robots making the art that's not even good in the first place.
And what's funny about that too is like a Roomba exists as something that can sweep or mop your floor depending on the whatever. Does it do a good job of it? From what I understand is like you have to be using it all the time, so you never have a buildup of a bunch of stuff.
Well, and you need I mean, I think they work pretty well as long as you don't have anything on your floor that is not something that you want vacuumed.
Yeah, exactly. You have to always keep it like you can't have a stray cord or something because then it'll run over it and it'll vacuum it up
Or it'll just avoid that and just not vacuum anything in that
Right.
area, which is also it's also not great.
And so something like that, just a very simple. I'm a vacuum robot. That's all I do is I do this thing. You have people who will be like, well, we could put AI into that, and it's like I know, but it already does 90% of the work without needing to do massive computations to figure stuff out. So
and again, this causes the like, what is AI thing, right? Because there's certainly a ton of AI, what could be termed AI in a Roomba.
Yeah.
That how it maps the room and all that stuff is very complex programming systems that in another day and age would have been called AI.
Yeah.
But it doesn't generate weird text
I'm
while it's doing
sure, I'm pretty sure marketing wise now, the way things are going, they'll start referring to it as AI because it sounds futuristic.
I mean,
it's as a sales point, right? Like not that it's truly that, or
I'm pretty sure they use AI anyway. Like I'm sure they used AI even before ChatGPT was a thing. Like pathfinding used to be what we called AI.
Oh, I know, I get that, but
Like, it's entirely legitimate to call it that.
is like your washing machine can connect to the internet to tell it things
and
give it status. That's not AI, but
No.
they definitely call it AI as if it is because they want people to think your washing machine is futuristic.
Or that
also, you don't need your washing machine to do that.
Yeah. Or your washing machine can like sense how much stuff, like it has a weight sensor in it to be like, oh, I know how much weight of something has just been put inside me. But I'm like, yeah, but if I put 8 pounds of laundry into you or I put a newborn baby, you're not going to be able to tell the fucking difference. Like, so I don't know how smart you are, washing machine. But please don't wash my cat. Like.
What?
I mean, if it could tell that you have a cat in the washing machine,
Yeah.
that would be a really good safety feature.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I like that you went from, it's like, oh, I can't tell the difference between laundry and a newborn baby, so don't wash my cat.
Yeah, don't do that either, though.
Wait, but what about the newborn baby? Do you not care about that one? Anyway.
I'm a busy man, and I don't have time to clean my children that aren't real. My hypothetical child. I don't have time to clean it, but I can put it in a machine to clean it for me. And the thing is, look, a front-loading machine is way gentler than a top-loader. So, I mean, that's what I've been told the entire time is that you use less water and it's way gentler on whatever is inside your washing machine.
So the kid is just, being a big baby. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
The baby.
It's not that big.
No, that's baby steps. We haven't talked about that.
9 pounds, 16 ounces, that's big. Also, I don't know why you would say 16 ounces because I think that's a pound. Anyway.
Hey, let's talk about Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very interesting report, a leak possibly.
Oh, good.
This is
I guess that's how you learn.
Nothing's confirmed.
Rumor / leak /
nothing's confirmed. Allegedly,
whatever.
Ubisoft was working on a Assassin's Creed game that would be set in the post, sort of just after the Civil War in the United States, which would be the most recent, would make the Animus setting be the most recent that they have done,
Okay.
or the most modern day. Obviously, the modern day parts of the game are in the future, or
But, yeah.
sometimes, or actually, I think we've passed some of the future parts that they used to be in the future, and now we're in the past. Anyway,
Cool.
but yeah, so apparently they were going to do this, and they got some amount through it, and had some concept ideas and stuff, and then it was decided to be canceled because it was considered to be too political a topic.
Well, there was backlash on the other one, right?
Well, yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows. There was some backlash about the Yasuke as a playable character that people got.
Like I'm all for making fun of Ubisoft. Just we can end the sentence there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they've done. But the idea of like, hey, you're working on something, you put something else out, there's a bunch of backlash for that. Maybe you don't want to deal with that another time around. I can kind of relate with.
And so there's an interesting aspect to this too, right? Where it's like, as Cameron talked about in the story, is that the Assassin's Creed games have always had this really odd relationship with historical stuff, where they're actually. I mean, it's a little bit like, I think about it sometimes a little bit like how I did, how I used to do like the whole story stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Or also like a little bit like, Dan Brown books, where it's, which I realized after reading Da Vinci Code that it's like, hey, he's doing the same thing that I did basically, which is you get the big aspects correct.
Yep.
Or no, sorry, you get the small aspects correct, but the big parts are totally wrong.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like all the places and the names and the little details are correct, but why things happened and who was where.
Almost like you're trying to make a point of this is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like in Assassin's Creed, you meet all these like historical figures, but they're sort of recast into this whole other world of the assassons and the Templars.
What do you call him? The Quad Pope?
Holo Quad Pope.
And we actually in the coming or the today part in the actual episode this week shows the climactic final boss fight in Assassin's Creed 2, which ends up with Ezio just fist fighting the Pope.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, actually. Like, there's like a bunch of, fancy anime or a bunch of fancy sort of semi-magical stuff going on where like, people are being like duplicated multiple times and magical things are happening. But then it ends up being like Ezio goes like takes off his
Assassin
blades, takes off his cape, and he's like,
Just you and me, Pope.
Just you and me, Pope. And it ends with just you fist fighting the Pope. But anyway, so that's an example of something that almost certainly didn't happen.
Yeah. I thought Cameron made good points here where it's like, look, much like with Far Cry, where the Far Cry 5, we were talking about this the other day. You brought up Far Cry 5. The main antagonist is a white supremacist organization it's
like a cult.
Yeah, in the Northwest United States. And people were like, "Oh, Ubisoft has some shit to say because they're releasing this game while during the first Trump presidency." And they're like, "We've been working on this for years. Like, this is not. You can't pivot away from it. Like, this isn't just something you can say to Grok. Make me a fucking video game, Grok, about white supremacy. Don't worry, Elon's got you on this one.
Don't worry, I'm sure it'll do it.
He'll
without
be making
that
lots
prompt.
of those. But anyway."
But yeah, the idea that it wasn't intended to be that controversial a game.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like, we've made this thing. And so with Assassin's Creed to be like, well, what if, what if you do a game that's during the American Civil War, and what if it has to focus on it's from the perspective of a former black slave, and it's like, well, then you better be sure that you handle this artfully, and if you cannot, you're going to run into a lot of criticism and a massive amount of backlash.
And there's an interesting, and sort of with the historical accuracy of Assassin's Creed, like there's this interesting sort of almost like statute of limitations aspect to it.
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, game that I've talked about a lot. Your first mate on your ship, his name is Adewale, and he is an escaped slave. This is during the
African slave trade.
Yeah, so this is during the age of sail. This would be, I forget, like the 1700s, I think, is sort of when.
Okay, 1700s,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, yeah.
And then they actually did a sort of mini expansion DLC for Assassin's Creed called Assassin's Creed Freedom Reigns, where you play as Adewale and you are going through, and one of the things that you're doing is like rescuing slave ships and rescuing slave ships and doing stuff on plantations and killing slave owners and all this stuff, right? And it's like there's this aspect where I guess it's like that's sort of far enough. It's like, okay, like, the African, the slave trade, we're all on the same page. That was really bad.
Yeah.
And killing slave owners is great.
Yep.
And we're all happy with that. But as things get more and more into
A more
closer to the present day, even, I mean, we're talking after the Civil War, so it's still quite a long way away. But then it starts getting, getting into things that I guess are considered, could be considered to be more controversial or less of a unquestioned.
Oh, I see.
Thing, I guess.
Yeah, one of those is like we all can be on the same side for this one, but if you're going to say something negative about George Washington because he owned slaves, then it's like we can't get behind that. And it's like, oh yeah, that's where you start to get into the thing where people are like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear whatever might be. Or we don't know everything about what went on during that time, and so we're going to be saying some shit that isn't that maybe isn't
I think
politics.
one of the images was like on the shoulder graphics was the tyranny of George Washington.
The tyranny of King George, or the tyranny of King What? Like it was, and that was the thing they did. That was Assassin's Creed. It was expansion for Assassin's Creed 3.
Right.
And I think it was supposed to be. It was like an alternate timeline. Thing.
Yeah.
So they've sort of flirted with that kind of stuff a little bit, and of course, you meet various other historical figures, like you meet Da Vinci, and you meet all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess there's this aspect where it's like, if they do once they start getting into closer to the modern time, and they're like, oh, this guy was a Templar, this guy was an assassin, and like, a relative of that person is still alive.
Right.
It can get a little weird.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, anyway. Because I mean, since I guess since they've done the sort of soft reboot thing, they've gone backwards, right?
Yeah.
They did ancient Egypt, they did ancient Greece, they did the Vikings.
They're doing the Warring States era in Japan. Yeah.
Japan, yeah. So they haven't wanted to go past. They sort of done the Star Trek thing where it's like, we're not going to do anything more in the future. Now it's just older stuff.
It's funny because referencing Shadows with Yasuke, there's a manga that I was reading. I don't know if I brought this up. A Chef of Nobunaga. Which is a guy travels back in time, but hit his head and forgets that who he is. He just knows that he knows how to cook, and then they kind of unravel bits more about who he is. But he's also like he's a Japanese man, but he's like 6 feet tall because
he's a modern day
Japanese man. Nutrition and everything else has changed over the years, and so he's just a very big dude, and everyone's like, look at this giant man. But very late in the manga, as they're getting closer and closer to Nobunaga's death, is you meet Yasuke, you meet this man, and I was like, wait, this is the same guy. Like, they give him this name, and he was how the manga portrays him is as a slave or servant for the Jesuit church. So he was serving like some of the, I forget if it was Francis or whoever the guy is,
but like became a retainer to Nobunaga.
Yeah, because Nobunaga was like, I like this guy. We should keep him for ourselves. And the whole thing, like, things happen or whatever. But it was really interesting to see that it's like, oh, this guy, they all say this guy existed and this is the right time period and everything else too. And it's like, right. So all this being true, everybody wants to work him into appropriate time period stuff because it's interesting to see that. And I'm like, I think it's interesting to see it too. Even if it's not like, this isn't the God's honest truth. It's like, no, but everybody wants to talk about how this guy existed at this time in this place.
This was Nobunaga no Chef?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, the live action of that was so good.
Such a good show. Yeah.
I really like, as an aside, that most of the time travel in a lot of anime and stuff I watch is called, they use the English term time slip.
Time sleep.
And some of them take it to the extreme of, it looks like someone literally just slips on a banana peel and falls back in time. Like, it's just
I like that
really funny.
I mean, it's sort of a common trope of the sort of the sort of going to another land or whatever, but like I feel like most anime don't get really bogged down in the mechanics of the time travel aspect.
No, you don't
Usually
really need
it's
to.
just like
no,
something happens,
he
he gets hit by something.
a thing happened. Don't worry about it.
There's magic, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's back in this time. We
It's
don't have to go into like how the machine got invented.
Yeah, it's more Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court than it is like Back to the Future, where we have to like have we have to have a MacGuffin to hang the time travel on.
Like it's
THC2
I wish izakais would just kind of stop trying to justify why the isekai was happening.
Just get hit by the truck. That's all.
I don't need to know about the child, that body that you took over who was sick, who probably died as you took over the body.
Yeah,
that's
and
just
why
weird.
you could,
And I don't need that explanation.
TXC2 asks, is there a legal mandate that Japan has to make media with Oba Nobunaga in every year? There is, because if they do not make a new manga or movie or something that involves Oda Nobunaga, he reverts back to Marvel, and then they get to continue making stories about his life.
He's just a very big historical figure for them, so he shows up in a lot of stuff. And he will always be either a hero or a villain. He will never be like
neutral
or kind of in the background even.
It's and also, but any story, any historical story in Japan that takes place, there's about a 500 to 1,000 year window.
Yeah,
that Nobunaga has to be in the story.
Which is funny because he only lived the normal life. Like, he lived about a rough lifespan that a man would live. So
what, like 30, maybe 40 years?
I think he was probably about 40 years old. I'm not sure. Somebody.
I'm just saying, for that time period,
age,
he probably didn't. It's not like he lived to be 100.
No, definitely not.
But there's a surprisingly large historical window that apparently he was doing stuff.
Yeah.
If you go by, video games and anime and stuff.
They should make another Pokemon Conquest game. That had Nobunaga in it too, I think. Because I believe it's a Nobunaga's Ambition crossover.
But it's like, especially like when we're watching video game trailers or doing anything, if it's a historical Japanese thing, you're just waiting for Nobunaga to show up.
Yeah.
It's like, I certainly know that there are many historical periods of Japan that didn't involve Nobunaga at all. But for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to come up.
I mean, the Sengoku era was like the Warring States period is one of the most popular historical periods in Japan to make content about because it was so fraught, because there was so much stuff going on, and you learn. You're drilled this stuff in school because it's like, we need you to know where our nation that has been around for thousands of years, you need to, I guess, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It's like, you need to know all the history of it, and we're going to just give you this broad stroke. You have Nobunaga, Hideyoshi, Tokugawa.
Yeah.
That's important. Like I had to learn this as part of my Japanese history class in university. That it was like the big trio of Nobunaga, Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa. You need to know what they did and why they were important and the order it went in and why they did the things that they did. And it's like we're spending a lot of time with these guys, and that encompasses only this much of an era, like only like a handful of years within the 2,000 years you're trying to talk about. It's about this only this little like 100-year period in which that was really, really, really important. But it was the unification, so that is really, really important.
Yeah, it's probably akin to how we used to have a whole bunch of World War II movies
Yeah.
just forever.
Or
We will still continue to have those
Yeah.
movies.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
but I mean, we've had all this stuff when that actually
Yeah.
only was a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah.
But it looms large in people's.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the one other aspect I just wanted to quickly touch on with the Assassin's Creed thing is because the more modern Assassin's Creed games, or at least not the most modern, but the like I said, like Black Flag and the ones in that era, the containing story, like the
larger set
the
piece.
frame story,
Yeah.
is that you are working at a game development company, a French game development company that is
Ubisoft.
part of Abstergo. It doesn't really portray the development company very well, actually,
All right.
which is kind of an interesting commentary. But anyway, that is in like Montreal, and they randomly speak French. Anyway, but one of the things that like you pick up, random, as well as like important plot stuff. You also just pick up like random diaries and bits of things, read people's emails and all that kind of stuff. And there are because the premise is that you are they figure out how to use rather than going into your own ancestors' history, they figure out how they can extract that and basically turn it into video games.
Right.
And so you are in Black Flag, you're ostensibly sort of preparing this memory of this guy's memory, so that it can be turned into a pirating video game.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah,
things go a little bit off the rails, obviously.
because they never really show those aspects in the marketing anymore. I always forget until I see something like the Unskippable episode or whatever that Assassin's Creed is about just like a dude going into a machine to go into the past in his brain, kind of weird.
Yeah,
stuff.
and the stuff, how much the sort of present day part matters in terms of the bigger story has varied a lot over the course of the show.
It's just the marketing always shows like a guy in a hood doing parkour in like an ancient city or something.
I mean, that
right?
was
like so.
for the first Assassin's Creed game. That was actually like a surprise reveal.
Oh, really?
They didn't show the present day stuff until it was coming out. Like they were marketing it as a historical game,
Oh,
and
okay.
it was like boom, which is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get these emails and stuff, and people are talking about basically this stuff in these emails. Like they go like, oh hey, we downloaded this memory of this person who was involved in this thing, and then you'll get a reply email and be like, I don't know, that could be kind of a controversial time and place. Maybe we don't want to make that our next game. We'll look in that one. Maybe we'll do it like as a DLC thing.
Right, yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we could do it this one. Oh, yeah, okay, that guy was involved in some really interesting things. We could probably adapt that, shave off some of the corners probably. But, we could do... And so, like, you could... It's cool that's actually, like, in the game. And possibly something that they were, in fact... internally talking about too,
right?
That made its way into the writing. Anyway, the other thing is this big DDoS attack that happened last week, which I find is kind of it's especially notable because according to various stats we have, it was the largest DDoS attack possibly ever.
Okay.
Yep. And yet a whole bunch of people
30
were like, what?
Yeah, 30 terabytes per second. Terabits
Terabits per second, yeah.
It's like an earthquake happened, but all I saw was a glass tip over.
Yeah. But the amount of people that not only like didn't know what happened, but were even using these services and didn't really realize that there was a problem. It's a very interesting aspect of this, possibly showing that the infrastructure are pretty solid. And yes, also as Nelson pointed out, searching for information on this was a little bit confusing because TBPS also means tablespoons. Really wish they had figured out different abbreviations, but there it is. Hopefully, whatever
many
you're
letters
reading,
we got.
there isn't. I feel like I'd be kind of interested if somebody can come up with a situation where that would be ambiguous.
Well, you see, if you have enough tablespoons of something, you can take down the internet. Honestly, you might just need to throw tablespoons at the internet and you could take it down.
I think tablespoons also isn't. It's not capitalized, is it?
The first T is.
Is it?
The first T is. Yeah, because they use a small T for like teaspoons or something.
No, TSP is what they use for teaspoon, right? And I've always seen it with a small T, but I
Usually,
I've also seen tablespoon with a small T.
I think you can do it either way.
Okay. But terabit and terabyte both have to have a capital T, otherwise the T doesn't count.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't even get into tebibytes.
Just spill the tea out.
TBPS is tablespoons. That doesn't make any sense. Why the P? It's a measurement. I don't know.
Because there is a P in there. Tables, poons.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know it doesn't make sense, but that's why we measure shit in milliliters now.
Yeah.
It's
And TPS is teaspoons, which also doesn't work. But anyway, it is what it is.
yeah. I'm not going to sort that out. You've got the internet. Google it.
Is it T?
Or maybe not Google
Oh,
it.
it's TBSP.
Something else it.
That makes better sense. Yes, tablespoon is TBSP. That makes a lot more sense.
Sure.
I like how this is the error that has shaken ChillPoint to its core.
Well, I don't know. I like it when we get confused by minimal
Anyway.
things,
Yeah.
given how
That's why we measure things in milliliters
large
now.
everything else is.
But anyway, so it's a silly, but yeah, it's a interesting, and it's also interesting in this particular attack that it didn't seem to be the only thing that people can, or that security researchers can speculate is that it was to demonstrate that they can,
Right.
which is one of those things that always happens in like movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're like, we're going to black out half the city just to show that we can.
It's
and now
weird.
we can auction it for $100 million.
But the weird thing is that the group they picked, like the group of places that they picked to say this is where we're going to direct our botnet, were all gaming companies. Like
Right.
they were all like online provision gaming companies of some sort. That they weren't like, we're going to take down Nintendo's homepage. It's like that. Who fucking cares? Like that doesn't.
Yeah.
If it goes down for 6 hours, it's not going to make that big a difference, right? People be like, we have to wait for this thing to be over, obviously, but it's not going to have a huge impact on what Nintendo is doing in terms of providing online services.
And then you go, I'm going to go, oh no, my internet or my connection's down. Well, it's okay. I'll just play this video game that I have that is not online.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a code.
Yeah.
I think I heard
One of those things.
more people. I mean, I saw a couple people being like, "Hey, is there something? Is Steam down? Like, does anyone know what's going on?" More like, that kind of like, "Hey, did anyone see why the store was closed today and I couldn't
Right,
get
right.
into it?" As opposed to like when Silk Song came out and everyone was just screaming on the internet that they
Yeah.
couldn't get their video game. Like, I don't know. It just
It's-
has a very different vibe.
It's just weird to me because I don't understand why the Isadu botnet would like. It's like, why point that at these guys? it could be like the fact that we're talking about it means that it's got our attention, right? So it's it's that audience. But I'm like, if you're just doing something to demonstrate what you can do, why wouldn't you point that at CNN, MSNBC? Like, why wouldn't you like try to hit like a bunch of news organizations who would be like very invested in sniffing their own farts on this one? Because they'd be like, oh my God, look at this crazy botnet that took down all we couldn't publish news for about 45 minutes. Like, and then they would do massive stories about how it's like, this is like the end of civilization versus, oh, Steam got hit by a thing. And no one in the mainstream media is going to talk about that because they're probably not going to be aware that it's happening.
I think the money that is in the gaming industry relative to the level of security and the level of scrutiny. Like if you take down the government's website,
oh yeah,
maybe you can get a bunch of money from somebody to do that, but you're going to be on the radar of every organization that's going to try to find you.
Yeah.
But people, like, there's a lot of money in the gaming industry, but
to demonstrate this, but Steam goes down for an hour and you lost $1 million.
But people don't necessarily care.
Yeah.
There isn't as much scrutiny. Like, I mean, they talk about like there's all that stuff about some of the biggest botnets in the world at one point anyway were devoted to people hacking each other's Minecraft servers.
Yeah, right.
Because apparently that was like that was something that people were really active doing, but it sort of stayed under the radar, even though there was a lot of traffic and a lot of money in a lot of cases, because it was sort of not as mainstream.
Right.
It didn't get that sort of scrutiny. So I feel like maybe keeping it to the video game thing keeps it lower profile, but also is an area where there is money. I don't know. Could also mean that just whatever the particular exploits they were using were particularly effective against video game companies.
Right. Because it really just felt to me, it's like if you're demonstrating it in this way, that's also, it's like you're trying to get somebody's attention. Mm-hmm. You're trying to say, we're showing that we can do this. It's like, sure, okay. Well, you're trying to send a message to somebody that you can do this kind of thing, and maybe you can keep it up for like days, or who knows. Because if it's a demonstration, it's like you don't just straight up demonstrate your ability to do something, even if it's like a fraction of your power. There's no reason to demonstrate a partial like bit of what you can doing unless you're like, we want to make a statement or a point, or we're trying to gain leverage in some sort of other negotiation or some other situation. Or you might have, it was the evening of October the 6th, right? Well, the Israeli demonstration for the October 7th was like the next day, or could also have been the same day.
I feel like if you're making that kind of point, though,
is it
you
political?
come out and you say that.
You'd want to be political about it, right?
That's not a thing that you just do a thing and you don't say anything.
Yeah, we're making a statement saying that we have a grudge against this country. If that was supposed to be what that was, it's like, then why would you point it at Steam and Epic and everybody else? And also, why would you be quiet about why you did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we don't know, but it sucks that can happen. That there's these sort of botnets out there that have this kind of power that they can kind of blast anything they want to. But it's but yes, I'm assuming that there are lots of. This is one of those situations where it's like, ooh, geez, that's kind of bad. Mm. But on the other hand, I'm working under the assumption that there are people there. There is a lot of money in this, both on the sort of preventative side and the housing side. So I'm assuming that there are some people, some very skilled, knowledgeable anti-hacking people, doing some forensic work to figure out what the hell happened and how it can be mitigated in the future.
Yeah,
but we'll see. And maybe the fact that people didn't notice it so much is an indication that there was actually pretty effective mitigation strategies. I
Yeah.
know Cloudflare and places like that have talked about all the various very sophisticated systems they use to
Head this off the
deal with
pass.
that kind of
Yeah.
traffic.
When the Cloudflare one went down, I think it was more noticeable because it was wider spread for a lot more people,
Yeah, I mean, Cloudflare is one of those
just because
things
of
that
how
is-
much of the internet runs on that.
it is the middleman for a lot of that technology. Same with like, Amazon Web Services and these kind of things where you go like, wow, it turns out they were involved in everything. And speaking of people who are involved in everything, Sonic.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Except not actually
No.
Sonic at all. In fact, it's Sony who is involved in making, who just put out the Iconic Blue?
Icon blue.
Icon Blue.
I know. I want to say
Controller.
iconic as well because that phrase gets overused in product placement, especially in gaming.
And-
But it's
the-
just icon blue.
Yeah, this is coming out in the market. It's coming out with is at the end of near the end of October. So on October the 20th, and I think like a little bit later in Chile, it's coming out.
I
the
do like
28th.
the contrasting blue they use on the buttons for the shapes and the arrows and stuff. Like I think it looks really neat against the blue color they've got of the controller.
What I find interesting about this is that PlayStation there are like a blue PlayStation has existed since the PlayStation came out.
Cobalt blue, they call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like you think you've got a blue controller when you have this controller. You're like, I've got a blue controller.
Well, I mean, you do. It is blue.
But it ain't nothing compared to
The blue.
the blue controller.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought I knew what blue was. I turns out I was wrong.
The only way you could make this like more, I mean, you could make it all the same color blue. That's
Right.
one thing, because it isn't. It's a few different shades. But you could also just make it completely transparent and just put in a bunch of blue LEDs, and or you could frost it, right? And you have a bunch of blue
I think
LEDs
they
in the
did
inside.
that for well, not the LED part,
like-
But it's like you just make it glow, and when I mean glow, I mean like
Have all the-
eye-searingly glow.
And have all the like PCBs inside be blue.
Be the
That'd
blue
be
as
cool.
well. Yeah, just have everything be blue from top to bottom, and then just have the thing glow blue in your hands. Just over crank those LEDs so that they're just like you can't even look at your fucking controller. Like that's how you could make it blue after this. So
okay. This controller looks nice. It's still probably like $100.
oh yeah, nothing's changed about it.
Yeah, it's cool looking.
It's a different colorway, and I just when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's like the Pumas last week. This is a very Sonic controller, like.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could if you get like a little loading ready run decal, you could put that on the little
It's true.
pad in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's just basically loading ready run right there.
Yep. You already
you
have the
that- you
circle
all
and the
that-
triangle.
Yeah, you got all that space. You guys know what to do.
I kind of wish they had. I wonder if they are planning to do other Icon series.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know during the last
I bet like a green one would look nice.
Yeah, but
during
Xbox
the-
would have an argument about that, right?
I
during the
guess.
last
I guess they are Team Blue.
state
or
of
whatever.
play, they had they showed off the God of War controller very briefly, which I think was basically white, but it had like a streak of red on it or something.
Right. For his little.
The Astrobot one
Ooh, what's
is
that?
is pretty cute. It's your Sony PlayStation 5 controller, but it's got like his eyes in the thing, and it glows a little bit. That's
Ooh, I like that.
that
Yeah.
one's actually really cute.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So they've done some special ones.
It
but-
would be very cool if the touchpad in the middle was actually in a touch screen, because then you could have the eyes come up and they could like blink at you and stuff, and that would be fun. But I mean, that would just add probably another $100 to the cost of the controller.
It would make
at
it
that
more
point,
expensive.
you
Yeah.
know? It does. It would. I expect that will be like the next thing, is that they will to be like, if we're going to work on doing something more ridiculous with our controllers, it'll be we have we put a capacitive touch screen in the middle of the controller, and then you can use that as you would normally, like as the normal like capacitive touch pad, but now it's a screen, and we can put information on it. We can treat it like it's a second, like very Wii U, right?
Yeah, wait a minute, this is just a Wii U again.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it'd be interesting if it was like, smaller and a little more, robust in that way. And
that just seems like another place for it to break in a really weird way.
But it's like when you're using a Game Boy Advance to play some of the games in the GameCube, where it was like we could give you information on the lower thing. And I'm like, if Sony was driven to do that kind of...
Oh, you're describing the Dreamcast controller.
The VU
with a VMU in it, yeah.
VMU, yeah.
Going back that far, but it's like rather than having a removable item and all that kind of stuff, it's like you just integrate it into your controller and then you've got it. And it's the parts are cheaper enough now that you could probably get away with doing something like that. You just would have to be like, what would be the value? And you'd probably have to do it as like a whole bunch of games support this, but it's not necessary to play the game, but it's one of those like nice to haves.
Like, I feel like the fact that that area on a PS5 controller is a touch screen is a touch surface almost never comes up. Like almost, I feel like every time I've used it, it's always just been like big button.
Most games use it as a button. Games that use it more, I'm thinking more of how the Vita works. But I think Tearaway Unfolded was a PS4 game, and it might have used it because the whole point of Tearaway on the Vita itself was to kind of show off more of the functions of the Vita. So the PlayStation 4 version might have done something with it.
And it had
There's a couple things that I think there are games that kind of used it as a swipe thing as well a little bit, but it's more like a quick swipe just to get again, it's still kind of just using it as an extra button.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really sure of other games because I haven't played that many that use that functionality.
And then, coming up, Nintendo first released this little, people are calling it Pixar-esque short, with that's like a baby being left alone for a little bit, and then various toys and things in his room start moving around and floating, and
his pacifier
starts floating around and stuff,
and
that was it. And then like 2 or 3 days later, only on the Nintendo, on the app,
they released this video at like 6 a.m. I think or something, just
on YouTube,
just kind of out of nowhere, no explanation. Comments were locked.
Well, it was just because it was like registered as like a kids thing, so you can't do
but still,
and
then the next day, they put it on the Nintendo Today app.
Oh, was it the next day?
Yeah, it was the next day.
So the next day it came out on the Nintendo Today app, but that version, instead of it being things floating around,
it has Pikmin moving the things around.
Massively
so it's the same
large
video,
Pikmin.
But now you can see the Pikmin, because Pikmin are not visible by the human eye, apparently, according to, I don't know, Pikmin 3 lore or something, maybe? I can't remember.
Way too big Pikmin.
In the original video, you did see like out of focus stuff move around in the background every once in a while.
Yeah.
And so people were like, is it Pikmin?
Well, I mean, the big giveaway was they were using Pikmin 4 melodies in the...
were they?
Yeah.
That's why everyone assumed it. Okay.
But then, so they released this on their app, but for whatever reason haven't, at least I don't think they have yet, released it on YouTube, released the version with the Pikmin
I don't think
YouTube,
they intend to.
Which is very odd.
Because what they've announced is Nintendo Productions, I think is what they've called it, which is a section that intends to make little videos. And I think that might be, I'd have to check. I think it might be a separate app.
So it's not actually necessarily a preview or a precursor to a Pikmin announcement.
No,
it might be just something.
It's not advertising anything in the sense of a product.
Right.
If you want to look at this as a piece of advertisement for anything, you should probably consider it in the same vein that like big brands do advertising. Like TELUS just shows a bunch of animals and says, "Hey, tell us."
Right.
Right? You could consider it that way, but in essence, for what they're doing, it's just a video that they made, and they're making a thing where they make more little videos. And they've already been making tiny little videos. When we were in Japan, every train we were on had like a little, guess what this object is that this Pikmin is doing. Like, I think if anything, they're just doing it in-house now.
It's,
Or they have bought a company or something to make little shorts.
I guess it's nice to see in the sense that it means that they haven't forgotten about Pikmin,
Yes, that I'll agree with.
but it doesn't necessarily indicate that there's something happening.
There's a thing that I'm extrapolating from this is that by using Nintendo Today as a means of, we're going to publish news and videos and stuff to you, like that, because this is the new thing they've done where it's like, I shouldn't say it's that new, I guess, but the idea of like, oh, we have this, we want to announce this thing to you today. We have news today, and so we're announcing it to you. This is a thing we want to tell you today. And then now they're publishing a video as a part of that to say here's that video, but it's a different video. And I'm guessing that what we're going to see happen is the directs are going to start getting published on the Nintendo Today app, whether they'll be published simultaneously with YouTube, or they'll be published at the same time, or they'll be published that's what I mean, either published simultaneously or published prior, or they start publishing them there only and saying that that's where we're going to be putting this information, is that you're going to have to pull them up in the Nintendo Today app.
I disagree with that. The Nintendo Today app has been out for a few months now at least, and they've had a couple of directs since then. If they really wanted to go that route, they could, but also that really narrows your focus of who's going to see that information.
Sure.
And I don't think that's what they're going to want. I don't think that people who advertise through them with their third-party stuff is going to want that either.
To be like, this is solely something available through
and
here.
they have put out information through the Nintendo Today app only that way.
Yeah.
But they've also done that on other social media things where they'll just make a post in regards to a thing because they're only going for a certain market. Like they announced I think they announced the date for the Zelda movie through the Nintendo Today app only.
Yeah.
But it's not like when a trailer for that finally comes out, they're only going to put it there.
Right.
That wouldn't make sense.
And yeah, there might be, I think that there's a possibility that they do start to that they would do it either like give preferred access to their own app, because then it's like it's a channel they have sole control over the distribution of, as opposed to having to make a channel but then having to deal with YouTube or whatever, right?
And I think that exists because of how Twitter went down.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be the sole thing of where they advertise or where they do stuff.
Yep. I'm completely prepared to be wrong. I just also like I'm making a very strong statement.
You're stating that there's a possibility a company will do one thing in a certain way, and yes, there was always a possibility that a company will just do a thing in one way. I don't think it makes any sense for them to take directs only to that section.
Yeah, you want to get them out to everybody everywhere.
I think it makes sense that, in fact, because of the way the Nintendo Today app is set up, because I've used it, I don't think they would put a full 45-minute direct there for people to watch that way. I think they would probably put smaller trailers and divide stuff up more in the same way that you see that stuff divided up on YouTube afterwards.
That's a very good point.
I mean, Nintendo's got to be careful putting stuff on YouTube, though. Nintendo's very litigious, and they might get DMCA'd.
Yeah.
I have seen stuff about
Nintendo stuff up.
Some people getting their videos blocked. That's not the same thing as a takedown, by the way. Being blocked and a takedown are two different things, according to YouTube, and they are slightly different. For one thing, getting a thing taken down usually, especially if it's forcibly taken down, usually also adds a strike to your channel, which is not a thing you want. A video being blocked, because we've had videos blocked as well on our channel for things, all it does is it means people can't see the video. There's no strike with that. That's different. It's still annoying, but it's not the same thing.
All right, let's move on to some stuff that we didn't cover on the episode. Starting with the CEO of Supercell, who is a mobile developer. I believe they're primarily a mobile developer anyway. Has come up with an open letter to the European Commission, European Union, about they're proposing some regulations around digital purchases, online currency, loot boxes, this
Yep.
kind of stuff.
The European Union is
Yes.
proposing
European
okay.
Commission.
Commission.
Sorry, the European Union, a commission for the European Union.
Oh, okay. It is not the European Commission. It is.
No, it is.
It is European
the
Commission.
European Commission.
Great,
Which
okay.
is for the European Union. I don't know what the difference is.
We don't like. Yeah.
What's the difference?
In Canada, a lot of people I think find this kind of thing confusing. Imagine in a lot of maybe other countries they find this kind of thing confusing. That's being like, so you have a bunch of different overlapping elements with how the things work in Europe over the last like 30 or 40 years, and we don't always keep it straight. So if you're in Europe right now, you're like, why don't you understand this? It's like, let's be honest, it's a bunch of interlocking circles, and it's not always clear to us which one is which. So
continue.
Anyway,
please.
earlier or last year, and then they did a study called the Digital Fairness Fitness Check,
alrighty.
where they were basically doing a bunch of surveys and a bunch of research on the dangerous or bad stuff, sort of dark patterns and this kind of thing with online digital currencies. So the kinds of stuff that has gotten people like, say, Fortnite in trouble in the past, making it hard for people to get refunds or making it not clear that you're buying things and all this kind of stuff. And so they have now brought out they have brought out a what is it called, the Digital Fairness Act is a proposed new law that will put in place a bunch of protections for digital currency stuff. And as you might not be surprised, a lot of a lot of game development companies are not super stoked about it, because that's how they make their money. And the CEO, Ilkka Pananen, the CEO of Supercell, Clash of Clans, Heyday, it's two of the games that they developed, has did an open letter saying that the Digital Fairness Act will fundamentally break how many games work, or and basically it'll make it so he alleges that it will make it so people that they won't be able to make games anymore if this goes into play.
I'm okay with that, given the kinds of games they're making.
He says that in-game currencies are just like tokens that you purchase at like a theme park to access rides and other experiences. And the current approach, where you like buy tokens and then use them and stuff, is convenient and fun for consumers because it helps them avoid repeated cash transactions.
One of my least favorite things was when I would go to an arcade and then I'd want to play something and they'd be like, well, you can totally do that. So what do you have on you? And it's like, well, I have like $3. And it's like, and I need to turn that into quarters. And it's like, well, put it in the machine and you get back 12 tokens. And I'm like, what is this bullshit? And it's like, well, this is 12. It's like, yeah, but now I have 12 tokens. So will you change them back into money? Oh, no. No, you've given us $3. So now you have to spend all 12 tokens, or else these are not going to be good for you anywhere else that you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure I still in like my change box have some Johnny Z's tokens, which was the only arcade in town for a long time and is now gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be you could go to the arcade and they make change for you.
Yeah.
Or like if you had bills or if you had quarters, because maybe the real fancy machine that took a loony
Yeah.
or whatever. But that was it. And then they switched to a token system. And
now all of a sudden you're kind of stuck with, well, now, the whole reason you change to a token system is because it doesn't make things easier for you in terms of quarters or not.
No.
I've worked at arcades that use quarters, and it's like, yeah, you still have to process a whole bunch of quarters at the end of the day, or you have to process a whole bunch of change at the end of the day, and you're handing out quarters to kids and whatever else. And I'm like, if I was given a bunch of tokens and I had to manage tokens and quarters and like all this other shit, it's like, yeah, this whole process is real weird. But it was kind of like the first thing, like the first visible thing of you take your money and you exchange it for fun, and now you're in charge of how you negotiate your fun. I'm like, if you just given me like if I gave you $1 and you gave me 4 quarters, I was still in charge of my own fun. But if I only played 2 games and I left with my other 2 quarters, then that was fine.
Yeah.
But then you lost out on getting 50 more cents on that transaction because I didn't leave them in your machines, and that's how I feel about any of that stuff, especially when it comes to like digital currencies and stuff, where it's like, well, do you want to buy this thing? Well, you'll need to spend $25 in the store in order to buy currency, in order to buy like your fucking Smurf berries. And I'm like, right. So you tell me that I'm limited in how I can purchase my Smurf berries, so you can always be sure you're extracting $25 out of me.
Yeah.
Even though I don't need $25 worth of fucking Smurf berries.
well, and those systems are always set up so that you have to buy a weird amount of currency that never lines up exactly with the thing that you want to get, so you end up with like a little bit more
sitting there, that's
just
kind of
sitting
telling
there.
you it's like you could spend this, but in order to do that you need to buy just a few
Yeah.
more of these.
And I mean, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo all used to do that
Yeah.
until they switched out. I think they're all just using real money now.
Yeah.
But in any case, so yeah, as you might suggest, people are mostly not very sympathetic to this guy's concerns,
I mean, I'm not either.
The lead part of his letter though is really funny.
saying, yeah, he's saying that I've been watching European tech grow for 25 years. In that time, our continent has gone from being a minor player to producing global leaders. But right now, potential regulations threaten to bring that progress to an end for one of Europe's most globally competitive industries, gaming. As I set out in this letter, EU proposals around digital coins are on track to fundamentally break how games work and ruin the player experience for millions of people who love games across the continent.
And I would argue that it is because of the European Union that we've had better progress at making sure we don't have stuff go super bad in games and in other ways, because they're the ones who usually make mobile apps go, fine, I guess we'll put percentage rates on our thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the consumer protections that the European Union has implemented have generally been pretty positive, and
They
also-
have a
also
ripple
generally
effect out to other parts of the world, because a lot of those companies want to make an app that functions the same all
They don't
over.
wanna-
They don't want to make different versions that conform to different things. So they'll either pull out completely because they're like, fine, your market's not big enough for us to make that sacrifice, which good, or they'll make a change that affects the thing worldwide,
yeah.
which is generally in our favor.
Sometimes the regulations aren't perfect, but it is interesting to see that they sort of have a different conception of how it should be handled. I think it's kind of an interesting way.
I just think it's funny that in his letter
I can post he posted it on LinkedIn, and
Oh, good.
yeah, the comments are great.
Can you open up his letter actually, because I do want to read like the first line, because I think it's very, very funny. Okay. What do Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, Minecraft, and The Witcher have in common? Yes, they're all wildly popular video games played by millions around the globe. They're also all made in Europe. When was the last time that in like I don't think I've ever received a bill from James saying, hey, I bought a whole bunch of currency in Minecraft, so I need you to reimburse me for that. Or any of that kind of shit. Like, The Witcher, I'm pretty sure doesn't have like an in-game currency setup
Not
for you
No,
to
not
play.
like that.
Maybe for outfits? I don't actually know.
I think it might have DLC.
And I also think it's funny too that I'm like, oh, you've picked Clash of Clans and then Candy Crush, and I'm just kind of like interesting that you, of course, you put your game first. That it's like, what is the most popular fucking game in the history of the world? Clash of Clans. I guess that's what we're thinking here. What is the best video game ever made by any company ever? Clash of Clans. Like, that's how it reads to me. Is it's like that's your first one that you put in, that you're like, you put that in the same breath as Minecraft, and you're like, these are the same game. I'm like, they are not. And also, yeah, sure, okay, they're all made in Europe, but they do not all utilize the same functionality that you're talking about. And if you're mad that you're like, I can't get someone to pay $25 for my fucking Clashberries, then
Clashberries.
it's like Minecraft doesn't need to do that to be a successful game. And you are working on games that require people to spend a shit ton of their money, maybe more than they need to spend in order to enjoy your game. If you're making games like that, like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. If your game cannot survive trying to make things fairer for consumers in this way, then I think there might be a fundamental problem with your game.
If the success of your game, because let's just go with this, if the success of your game is based on dark patterns and pulling at people's inability to not gamble and those kinds of really terrifying psychological effects, your game doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
Full stop.
And then, of course, then he also goes on to being like, but why you don't need to regulate this because we are already voluntarily
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, that's
doing
self-regulation and
doing everything
and
we
self-reflection will keep us safe. I don't think so.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
That guy can fuck off into the sun.
Anyway. Speaking of DLC, actually, or in-game purchases, Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, as well as a bunch of accessories, is going to be in Skate, the skateboarding game.
Oh right. Skate.
So somewhat notable. I mean, okay, one, I'll admit, looks pretty cool. I mean, it's sort of a weird choice, but
Feels like cosplay.
I mean,
yeah.
that second photo definitely looks like a.
he's got like a weird big head.
Yeah.
Wasn't Skate the one where you have to be online all the time to play what is
That
just
is-
essentially a skateboarding game and doesn't really need to be online all the time, but they want it online all the time so that people experience the real updates of the real world or something?
Yeah, it's got like a world that is constantly changing or something. It's got, so there's stickers, a new deck.
They say Isaac's trunks, but do they mean Isaac's trucks? Like for his skateboard? Or does he actually wear like
maybe he
bathing
wears
suits?
short-
Maybe they've
Maybe
got
wear
like a
shorts.
bathing suit.
No,
that
those are
fits.
trucks.
Trucks.
I mean, I'm seeing trucks there, yeah.
Yeah, you can see here all the different stuff. Now, the interesting thing, or the thing that this article notes, is that the full cost of the entire set is 3,350 sand van bucks.
Okay, what's that in real world money?
$30.
Ugh.
All right.
Which is the other note that this, incidentally, is more expensive than the re-release of Dead Space
Jesus Christ.
that came out not too long ago.
Wow.
That's a lot for a horse outfit.
Just were people clamoring to have...
If it was a horse outfit, that would be cool.
Or a horse armor, sorry.
Skateboarder horse.
I mean, I'd be interested in playing a skateboarding horse, but
I feel like peeling off three $10 bills to say, I want to look like this video game character in my other video game. Like, that's $10, $10, and be like, and now I want to give you that so you can make me look like a video game character that I'm going to be staring at the back of most times in my other video
You're
game.
doing one of those spinny moves.
I guess that's true, yeah. But it's just like, I don't get the... Maybe the appeal is that then you can do all the cool ragdoll shit that I keep seeing people do with like Skate 3 or whatever it is, where it's like you can ragdoll so hard that you can actually just like kind of fly into the sky and fly away, and you're like, those are great videos. Those are my favorite. I want to just see stuff go bad in video games. That's more than a whole Silk Song. Account made for ants is correct. That's it costs you $35 to get Isaac Clarke into Silk Song.
That is accurate.
Or maybe just his boot, because you'll be like, if he's the same size. These bugs are bugs, right? They're all bugs. They're all little bugs.
Maybe they're giant bugs.
Maybe they're giant bugs.
I don't know. I'm not really sure how
There's
this
no
world
scale.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like the art of like Spider-Man with his hand out, and Hornet is standing on his hand going "Shaw," like, and he's like, like the whole.
Oh, I should find that.
But then there's another one where it's like Hornet, and she's got her like little paw carapace like harm thing. Anyway, she's got a little pointy bit that is one of her limbs holding out, and there's like Spider-Man is dangling from that, and she's like looking at it really funny. And I'm like, what if they were really giant bugs? Like, what if they're massive?
So what you're saying is the fan art is could go either way.
It's on point.
I should
It's
see
so
if I can
good.
find the animation I saw the other day where someone had done an Into the Spider-Verse version with Hornet.
Oh,
It
cute.
was really
A bunch of
good.
different versions of Hornet.
No, just her doing like the iconic falling thing with the one character.
Like Miles Morales did in the one.
Yeah, where they turn the scene upside down so he looks like he's falling up.
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
the-
Oh,
yeah, he's really good.
Vampire Survivors, great fun game.
Yeah.
Noted for being very lots of effects.
Yeah,
Lots of cool stuff.
It's
Very intense.
very, I'd say un-Twitch friendly
Oh,
if you're trying to watch
so-
it.
They call it bullet heaven as a
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is because it's you emitting all the bullets.
It's
Yeah.
you're the
Yeah, when you're the bullet hell, like that's for a fun game.
yeah.
So super cool game, lots of fun. Came out a little while ago with local co-op, which is even more fun. Well,
Yeah?
it's
Okay.
super cool. We played it in here during the subathon, I think. 2-player local co-op.
I think it was just a bonus stream.
Anyway, I thought it was like Jordan
and Matt did it, I
played
thought.
Yeah, but I think that was just a
Oh, anyway,
bonus.
whatever,
fine.
They did do it during a
They
subathon.
will tell us.
whatever the
Yeah,
case.
whatever.
Now the problem is with 2 people in co-op, there are twice as many particle effects happening, so things get pretty silly. Next month they're opening up online. They're going to start online co-op
Oh my god.
Was it still 2 people? Or
with 4 people,
oh man,
up to 4 people.
Wow.
So
That's gonna be so hard to watch.
I hope you like particle effects, because there's gonna
no,
be...
it's just that's gonna be the thing on a lot of that people are gonna be streaming, and like again, when you get that many things going on, it is not watchable on Twitch after a while.
It's effectively like, how well can you compress?
I think even if
like,
you turn off
static?
some, because I think you can turn off some of the particle effects to try to tone it down. It's still not friendly for anything streaming on Twitch.
I kind of love doing that, like as an experiment, but like do that and stream it at like 500 kbps and just see how bad it gets. How like just turns into like cool. It would almost just like turn into like artistic, impressionistic blurs.
Like I think if you mush Twitch out enough, it starts to also add particle to the people who are on camera. Like it's not like they stay clean.
That's really cool though. I mean,
But
it'll be-
I bet it, I mean, playing with a bunch of people, it's got to be fun.
Oh, it's probably a lot of fun.
But just even figuring out, sometimes even when you're playing by yourself, it's a little difficult to figure out where you are sometimes. So
Does it matter? Does it say anything about whether or not everybody who's playing together has to have the same version or the same amount of DLC or anything funky like that? Because some games don't work super well together if you've added DLC to your copy when
Yeah, it
you're playing
doesn't-
with other people, or
it doesn't say that in the press release here. But
because like some of the things from the DLCs, you end up with different weapons, I think too. So
different characters, different weapons, different levels.
So
Yeah.
you might be in a position of either dumbing down to whoever has the least amount of DLC, or it's like, well, we can transmit and broadcast this stuff.
Like I've seen stuff happen in different ways. I think I've seen that the Gloomhaven doesn't work if people don't have the same
Right.
things of DLC. I've seen the thing where it's like it's it doesn't care because you're essentially just playing one person's copy online, or like we had with the Game of Life, because it's just a reskin. It's nobody sees anything that's going on except for the person who's got it active.
That's the only game that I've ever seen do that,
which is really funny,
which is kind of bonkers
and telling about what that $10 per skin DLC is.
Jesus.
It does. Vampire Survivor did already have cross saves for different versions of it, though. So
Oh,
it's kinda
okay.
nice.
So it's probably fine.
Cool.
I mean, they seem to care very heavily about their game, and do a lot of really good work with it. So I expect that they're going to care about how people are able to play online.
I downloaded it for free on my phone, and I can't believe how deep it is. I can't believe how far the rabbit hole goes playing that game. Just the amount of and have you done this secret thing yet? Have you done this unlock thing yet? Have you uncovered this other thing? I have to do what? And it's like, yeah, you got to go do this. I had to go look up in the wiki how to do some of this stuff because I'm like, I know I can do it. I'm maxing out my character every time, but I can't seem to do the thing I need to do.
Yeah, when I was playing it a lot, I usually had the wiki page for what all the weapon combinations were.
Yeah.
Up on the second screen because you needed to see it.
I tried to actually not do that for the weapon combinations because I'm like, I think if I just try randomizing what it is I'm picking up, I'll be able to figure it out. And then it was I think one or two left, and I was like, I can't figure this out. And then go pick the right things, and it's like, okay, finally I can get the cool version of this, the ultimate version of the weapon. But
the Sustainable Games Alliance is an organization that's existed for a little bit now, but they've launched a new reporting framework for developers. So part of the reason why I thought this was kind of funny is that the Sustainable Games Alliance, I feel like the term sustainable games could be interpreted in quite a few different ways.
Oh, sure.
In fact, when I first saw this, my first thought was that it was it's a
developer alliance
organization that works to eliminating crunch and making sure that games are being developed in a sustainable way.
Not that all of our games are biodegradable and will. If you really want the ultimate FOMO,
I mean, that's what they actually are.
Really?
They're a nonprofit.
They're actually a organization that is
it's more of a green thing.
Supporting, it's ecological preservation and a support thing, and they provide a lot of resources for developers into it's kind of an interesting idea. It's how to, and you don't really think about this, but it's how to make your game more ecologically friendly.
Right.
Both they have, from the actual game packaging and that kind of stuff. But then also there's this interesting idea where it's if you optimize your game, then your game is using less energy when it plays. Has the side effect that you won't burn somebody's Steam Deck battery,
right? Yeah.
As well, or it'll run on an older computer, or the big fans on the computer won't have to speed up because it's a better optimized game.
Okay.
So they're saying that sustainability and doesn't have to be at odds with the quality of the game.
Right.
In fact, it might even be better for it in some ways.
It's really funny though too, because it's small changes. It's like the thing where people say, oh well, if you have you have your TV in your house, it doesn't actually turn itself off anymore. All it does is go into a very, very, very low power state. It soft powers off, but it doesn't actually fully stop drawing power because it has to be able to detect when a remote is sending it a signal or whatever. So it has to be able to wake up. And if you have enough things like that, you have all your consoles still plugged in and everything else, even if you never play them. It's they're all vampire sapping a little bit of power here and there. And if we just got everybody to turn all that stuff off for good when they're not using it and actually turn it off, then we could save some electricity, because the tiny, tiny, tiny little bits would add up to something that is the equivalent of a car or something like that kind of idea. And it's like, sure, the little bits do help. And I like this idea of like, yeah, if you make your game more efficient, that means that it runs like 3% more efficiently, but that's 3% more efficiently on maybe you've sold this game to 100,000 people and they've all saved a tiny little bit of electricity here and there.
Well, and I mean, we've done stories actually about like Sony pushed out a firmware update on the PlayStation not too long ago that allows it to actually run, if the game doesn't require it the full grunt of the system, it can actually basically be like sleeping half of its processor.
Neat.
Or it can sort of run in a low power mode.
That's good, because that thing gets loud.
Yeah.
If you're just playing Palatra on your CS5, PS5, you probably don't need it to be running at full tilt all the time.
But anyway, I was mostly amused because the idea of it's like Sustainable Games Alliance, the number of things that could mean. Also, when they talk about we are dedicated to reducing video game emissions, again, that could mean less. We don't want so much video game shovelware being emitted by video game development companies. We don't want so much bullshit marketing speak polluting the airwaves. There's too many bad emissions.
I don't think people use the term sustainable generally to mean not polluting the air with words.
I suppose so. Let's see here. Did you see? They've shown off the sages.
Yes.
From the new Hyrule Warriors.
I've seen Zelda's Maid more than I've seen the sages, but yeah, I knew the
true.
sages were
Now,
in here.
We know who the sages are from Tears of the Kingdom.
These are the original. These are the sages that you meet in Tears of the Kingdom that have the masks on.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
about.
Yeah. Like we've seen them already in cutscenes from Tears of the Kingdom. If you get the memories.
Yes.
Yes. So it's like it's kind of like we're not really meeting them for the first time in this case. We are, but we're getting to, because obviously you're going to be able to play with them an awful lot in Age of Imprisonment.
What do you know of one of the sages?
Though my favorite is it Minoru, the one who locks herself inside of a
Okay, yeah, we get to know a lot about her. Tell me one of the names of any of the other sages.
I cannot.
That's because they don't have names.
Ah, okay.
As far as I remember, we don't really get to see anything. You get the same cutscene for every sage of them doing a thing.
And like the sages that you actually interact with in the game are the like descendants, right?
Yeah, they're the ones who take on.
But presumably these are the originals.
These are the originals.
We also don't know. Yeah, we don't know yet whether they're going to be whether they'll take off their masks.
Yeah, the new character they showed off was like the new original character, I guess I should say, for Hyrule Warriors is the maid. Is
Yes.
Zelda's maid.
So this is also like
So Hyrule Warriors always does this.
Wow.
They give you all the characters that you know, and then they generally add a couple that weren't there in the game that kind of makes sense usually, or are fun in a way.
I think Nintendo knows what they're doing here, where it's like,
Oh yeah,
here are the cool sages. They fight with you, and everyone's like, oh, and it's like, aren't those really cool? Also, here's Zelda's maid.
yeah. All I'm saying is there's Zelda's maid, but you also get to play as a Korok.
Ooh, nice.
So,
And of course, yeah, immediately everyone's like, we don't care about the sages at all.
Yeah.
We just want to know more about this lady.
Yeah.
'Cause
She's friend shaped.
She seems cool.
Yeah.
well, you know she's gonna hex something up.
Oh yeah, she's got a giant hammer or some shit. I think like almost assuredly, what's going on here is with all the the slow kind of giving of information for Age of Imprisonment and who the sages are is going to be very much something along the same line as the Tears of the Kingdom reveals, where it was like, y'all know that we're going into the sky. And we're going to talk about that a lot because we do not want to let you know that you can also go underground. And I feel like that's what's going on here. Is it's like we're showing you this because we're gonna reveal a lot more in the game when you guys finally do get it. There'll be masks are gonna come off. There's gonna be lots of interaction. There'll be a lot more personality because obviously if you get to play as all the different characters.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of weird talk around. The last time they showed off a trailer, there at the end of the trailer they showed kind of this robotic Zonai thing being put together that a lot of people think is a replacement for Link, so that they can put Link in the game,
right?
Even though he's not in the past,
right?
Because I think that character's also on the cover art.
Oh, interesting.
And so there's a lot of speculation around that as
They
well.
created this construct.
Yeah, I mean, in the in
Link.
Age of Calamity, the previous Hyrule Warriors game that was based on Breath of the Wild, one of the things you got this tiny little robot that looked like a guardian but was white, and you could do it with whatever with. Eventually you could play that, and it was just this tiny little murder bot that was really kind of scary when you thought about it too much. I'm excited to play a Korok. Just to see what he's like. He's this tiny little Korok.
Aren't they invincible too? That's handy.
But also they're like Koroks are like invisible to most other beings.
Yep.
So
an invisible thing is just kicking your butt.
Yeah, but it all
Does he beat you up with the castanets?
like
Oh, that's a specific one. That's
I
the
know.
bigger one.
yeah,
big
Hestu
one.
was really surprised that
Hestu was Hestu playable in the first one? I can't remember now. I think he might have been.
Hestu was very surprised that you could see him in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And so because it's like, oh, you're not supposed to know that we exist or that we're around. And it wasn't like he wanted you to see him. It wasn't like he's like, oh, Koroks can just make themselves known to people by showing off who they are. It's like it has to be derived from something. So the question is, then what are the rules here? If we're going to play as a Korok in Age of Imprisonment, they probably had to come up with like, well, what does it mean to be able to see one of these things? Is it only people who have a certain type of power? Is it only people who have been blessed by the gods? Like,
They're probably just going to ignore that entirely.
and just be like, you can see him. It's like, but what? Why? What does it mean? It's like, you can see him.
You can see him because he's punching you in the face.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the reasons I really like the Hyrule Warriors games is that you can, play as Zelda and really F people up, but also you typically get some really neat, weird characters too. Like Age of Calamity also had the fairies in the giant flower pod that would just zoom around, and depending on the moveset you did, the different fairies would just pop out and hit someone and then pop back in, including the horse god would pop out of there too, which was really great. Yeah.
It's fun.
It's just a lot of fun.
Like it's fun to see, fun to see the characters that in Zelda, like the Koroks or the fairies or whatever, that are in a very sort of, they're just like there to kind of, they just sit there and like help you out or do whatever, like they're in a very sort of static helper thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The idea that like they used to really kick ass, or they could if they wanted to.
Also, that their flowers were ambulatory because it's like, oh, that's really cool. And then you find out in Tears of the Kingdom, actually, their flowers are ambulatory.
In Tears of the Kingdom, they moved, and it was just kind of like, wait, you can choose to do that?
And you're like, yeah, I decided I want to move my home from here to here, and so I just up and did it one day.
It's like, could you go and move your home to a more convenient spot so I can get back to you?
One of them did, right? Remember when, I remember we come to the, because if you come off the Great Plateau in Tears of the Kingdom, if for whatever reason, but like where the two standing rocks that are bifurcated by the river, at the beginning of Breath of the Wild, you see that kind of right away, and it's like, oh, this seems like an interesting place to go to. And if you go there, obviously in Tears of the Kingdom, if you work your way down from the castle and you go that direction anyway, at the point where the rivers diverge, one of the fairies is just there, and it's like, that's super weird, because if in Breath of the Wild there was just a great fairy hanging out in the corner there, it'd be like, oh, what is this weird thing that I'm coming across right away? They wanted you to kind of find the fairies in out of the way places, and then in this game they're like, we put it just right here because we're like, why not? We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. So when it comes to this game, the people who are going to care the most about the sages being in it and them having actual details, because they basically didn't have anything going on for them in Tears of the Kingdom, really, is going to be people who make Zelda timeline content and that kind of
no.
thing, where they're gonna like be like, hey, we finally know some stuff about this based on this thing. I mean, they'll still care about the new characters. People who are playing the games are going to care more about the new characters because it's new and it's like,
Right.
what does this maid do? Like, how does she hit people? And she's going to be overpowered in certain ways, which are going to be fun and, you know, stuff like that.
Nice. Just one or two more things here. I wanted to. We had Oki Oki Fight Club up just before us this morning. And Street Fighter 6 is getting a new DLC, a very new, exciting, topical DLC. They're doing a special collaboration with Banshee's Last Cry,
Is that...
which is a Super Famicom visual novel from 1994.
Excellent.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay. All right.
Can it be considered to be a collaboration?
If they just dug up, it's very odd. Like,
Yeah.
who
I mean-
made that game though?
If the company's still around, yeah.
I'm assuming maybe it's an old Capcom game.
Maybe.
Players will be able to access the new content via the World Tour mode, and it's called Street Fighter's Last Cry.
Maybe
From
they're
the One
gonna
Fateful
remaster this old visual novel and bring it back.
Yeah. And it's October 15th to 30th is when it will be available, or is the official time, but you will also be able to play it. It's not just available during that time, so that's kind of nice.
Good.
They'll have special stuff for that time, but you also be able to do stuff.
Here's a bit of information. Kamae Tachi no Yoru, released in English as Banshee's Last Cry. I'm like, it was released in English? What? Visual novel developed and published by Chunsoft,
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
which is funny because Chunsoft, like, I'm pretty sure, because they did a lot of the work on Dragon Quest. So I assume that Chunsoft was acquired by Enix at some point and then would have become also then part of Square Enix. But that's not true because
No.
Spike Chunsoft,
They got,
They
I guess
merged.
They merged.
they would have merged with somebody else, I think. So anyway, it was the second sound novel by Chunsoft and was brought myriad other companies to develop similar games. This term sound novel was a registered trademark, but is regarded as a genre. It was published by Spike Chunsoft for iOS and Android and by Access Games Worldwide for iOS. So I guess that's when it came out. It was released on Super Famicom, PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, PC, mobile, and iOS. Anything weird about it? No, that's all we know. So for some reason and also remake came out on Vita.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it is.
Vita was really like a good space for visual novels for quite some time.
Yeah, it's and Spike Chunsoft is owned by Dwango, which I don't think is related in any way to Capcom. No, because they're wholly owned now of Kadokawa Corporation. So
it's just like, why, or and it's like, can that really even be considered a collaboration when presumably none of the original people who worked on the other thing are involved in any way?
Well, that's what makes me wonder. What if they are? Like, what if the fact that, like, Street Fighter 6, somebody who's working on that is like, oh, well, there is this old game that I worked on way back in the day.
I mean,
Maybe.
usually when the term collaboration is being used in these sense, it's just that this is a crossover thing. This is just another
Are they
property.
gonna add Street Fighter people to this visual novel from 1994?
That would be really funny.
The account made for Ants points out that Street Fighter 6 also had a collab with Pop Team Epic, and it's like, sure, but also Pop Team Epic seems to like the kind of thing that would have a higher profile. You know, it's like it is known.
It's more recent.
Exactly, and it's like it's out there and it's currently a thing, and we're talking about a game
like,
that hasn't been published in a long time. So what?
Nintendo brought back that visual novel from like the 80s or something and made a new entry. Like
Famicom
20,
Detective
30
Club has a third
years-
entry now.
Years later, they did a new visualization on it. All that means is that somebody who is working there either really likes it or it's just a really easy IP to get a hold of. Like,
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. It's just like you made this thing a while ago, or I
I like
remember
to
playing
go-
it on.
You know what
Yeah,
this
I like
fighting
to go-
game needs? Visual knowledge.
I like to go with the idea that somebody has a fondness for this, and
I
it's
hope
just
so,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in this game. I don't care if anyone else knows what it means.
And finally, I wanted to shout out a viewer, Thomas Chick, who sent through actually a really neat, a bunch of info about the Kurt J. Mack Minecraft Farlands trek, which is something. It's not new news in the sense that it's been going on for 14 years.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
there were
it's-
articles about it.
It's news in the sense that he has made it. He successfully got to the Farlands in Minecraft when Notch said it couldn't be done.
Yeah.
And
The Farlands are like, though, a glitch from a beta version of Minecraft, are they not?
not even a beta version, just an early version. Like they have fixed it in the more recent versions,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it was in Minecraft for quite a long time, and then they changed the world gen algorithm a little bit. It was
Right.
basically, a glitch in the world gen algorithm that made it so that when you got past a certain thing, there's basically a wall that you can't get past.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to shout out this. So I don't advertise it that much, but if you send anything to Paul plus ChillPoint at Loading Ready Run, if you email me, you can send me any tips or anything you wanna have, and some excellent stuff has come through that, and the checkpoint part of the email make sure that it gets tagged properly on my end so I know what it is. But this person not only sent this article in, but actually, or not only sent this info in, but actually like almost basically wrote an article about it in the email themselves with all the background info, which was super helpful and I'm very thankful that happened. So thank you very much for doing that. So the idea, so this guy has been doing this thing where it's been basically walking, streaming himself and recording, just basically walking in a straight line in Minecraft for 14 years. He's been doing it.
Now, not 14 years straight.
Not straight.
No.
No, it's just
But
over
he's
a
been
period of 14
doing
years.
it, and it's and a community has grown up, and most importantly, there's a sort of charity aspect to it where he's been bringing in the thing calls it Farlands or Bust. It's raised I think over $500,000 for different charities. These done Child's Play, Direct Relief, Pause Seattle, Equal Justice Initiative, the CDC Foundation, Rise Above Disorder, Equality Tax Foundation, UN RWA. So he's supported lots of different charities and stuff. This in some way I've seen people, this person says, some ways it's sort of has a lot akin to sort of Desert Bus type stuff, where it's just sort of doing this silly thing.
Yeah.
And people have started to support it. Technically, he isn't the first person to get to the Farlands.
Right.
But
He's the first one to do it without using acceleration.
without using any glitches or any acceleration, or by walking.
Yeah.
It's
Which
part
is
of
kind
the 1.8 world gen.
It's kind of like the difference between like, I'm going to walk across the continent. Like I'm going to walk across Australia. And it's like, yeah, I'm also going to go from one side of Australia to the other, but I'm going to take a car.
Probably don't walk across Australia. I hear that's not like a great idea.
Yeah.
So to get to the Farlands, you have to walk 12,550,821 blocks away from zero.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, especially in this, the 1.7.3 is the last version of Minecraft that the Farlands exists in. They changed the world gen in 1.8.
Right.
Apparently, as you get farther and farther away from
From zero.
point, there starts getting glitches, or there starts becoming errors in the floating point calculations for positioning because the numbers start getting so big for everything. And so things start being like kind of glitchy. So there's been some very rough situations, that some dicey situations that where he could have easily gotten like stuck in the middle of the wall, or teleported in weird spots, or had things crash on him.
Right.
Also, as you're going, it's so, obviously the world of the 17 or 12 million blocks that represent the world don't get generated when you generate a world.
Right.
It's just like a seed, and then the stuff around you, and then it generates new stuff as you go.
Right.
But by going, he's forcing it to generate stuff. Apparently, the world that he, the Minecraft map that he has generated
In one direction.
is 87 gigabytes. That's the size of the world file. 40. It's about in total 40 days. He spent in real life days were spent in his travel over the last many years. So well played to you, Kirk J. Mack. Good job. I believe he said, people say, the last thing I read said, what are you going to do now? And he says, I'm going east. So I think he's like he got to the wall and is like now walking down the wall.
Follow
maybe
the wall as far as he can go to the point where the two corners meet. Maybe
This kind of has this is not meant to diminish this, but it kind of has vibes of I have Death Stranding at home.
I mean, Death Stranding isn't that big.
But it's like it's a game that's just about walking.
Yeah.
14 years.
Death Stranding has a really weird thing with like the distances. Like you're supposed to be walking across America, but you're like are wearing 7 league boots or something.
Yeah, you're moving a lot faster.
Everything's way closer together than it should be.
It's kind of like in come back to a lot of open world games like Breath of the Wild or like Skyrim or anything like that, where the changes in biomes and the it's like I'm traversing an awful lot of ground that just feels normal, but then I kind of end up in a location where it's like, well, why is there this? Why is in this one area? In like Breath of the Wild, for example, why is there this massive snowy mountain right here, and then right next to it, if in about 5 minutes of traversal, 10 minutes of traversal, I can get from here to like this beautiful tropical village, right? It's like, why can I do that, and why can I go from here to here and have it be like this? And it's like, right, because the change is slow enough to your eye while you're moving away from it that you don't detect that is all different, but it's like. This shouldn't be like this because the amount of space this would cover would be like the size of Vancouver Island or something ridiculous. And it's like, oh, that actually isn't that big when it comes to being like, you couldn't have that kind of biome difference really year round like that. It would not feel the same way.
I suppose, 12 million 1 meter blocks.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good distance.
That's 12,500 kilometers, right? Is what they said. And I'm like, so what's the circumference of the Earth again? Is it 15 or 20 or something like that? Like whatever the circumference of the Earth is, I'm like, oh, if this is half the size of the Earth, then it all makes a lot of sense that you'd have a lot of biome diversity. But you probably have like very compressed biome diversity because in Minecraft you don't want to generate a map that big and then be like, it's all snowy up here and it's very nice down here.
Apparently, at least for his particular world seed, I guess, the Farlands was in the ocean biome.
Cool. All right.
You can see here.
That's where he ended up. That's when he hits the wall.
Yeah, the wall is very cool looking. It's almost like bedrock, but vertical.
I assumed, I don't know why, but I just assumed a brick wall. Like I just assumed you get to the end and it would just be like a very obvious
like
brick
Truman
wall.
Show style.
Yeah, it'd just be like clungly cinder blocks, like.
That'd be great if it just like you Truman Show style, like the distance, you just get closer and closer and closer until you're casting a shadow on like the skybox that's like right in front of you now.
And you're like, huh? And then you turn to your side and you look, and there's just like, oh, there was this staircase that I couldn't see from a great distance, and I walk up it, and I open a door, and I just walk through the Farlands, and I'm out.
And then it's like, and then you walk to Minecraft 1.8.
Yeah,
I guess.
And then all of a sudden, a check from Microsoft shows up and it's like, "Congratulations, you made it. Here's your $1 million."
Pretty sure that's not on the table.
No.
That'd have been really funny if, like, for years, Mojang just kind of had this idea of like, we should just have $1 million prize for anybody who makes it to the end of this thing. Then they write it out of the game and they realize nobody ever made it.
And it's one of those like the Last Starfighter kind of things.
Oh yeah,
where they're like, we need you to walk a really long distance.
We knew you'd be the guys. Well, here's your pick. Go mine. That's it.
Anyway, that was the news that I thought was interesting to talk about this week. If you haven't watched the episode of ChillPoint that we did
That's
this week,
probably uploaded.
you should do that.
You could probably find it.
It's almost certainly uploaded.
Maybe.
On our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. It's our video game channel. You can also become a member of that channel. If you want to support us in that way, you'll get your name in the credits of the ChillPoint episode. You can also be a member of any of our other YouTube channels, or you can be a subscriber here on Twitch, or you can support us on Patreon, or you can buy things at the store. We try to make it easy as possible for you to give us money.
Yeah.
In as many ways as you can.
If you can think of one where you're like,
we don't have Venmo. We live in Canada.
Yeah. But if you can think of one where you're like, I'd like to do it this way, you could always ask and see if we do it. If a lot of you were like, I wish you were on this other service, you got to get a lot of people together to say, we don't want to pay you by this, and then we can try to set
You're
up
just
another
asking
service,
for
but
people to fill up your email box. You're going to get annoyed by it.
I want you to start a change.org petition. I want you to
I don't want that.
I want you to get 10,000 signatures for people who all say they're going to give us money
All
if we
right,
move
I'm
to
gonna
like
go
another
take
thing.
ChillPoint down now. Just because now I'm feeling vindictive against Beej.
So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and we will talk to all y'all later. Goodbye.